Welcome back to Bespoke Addict. I've got another interesting pair I'm selling at no reserve on eBay UK. These are alligator skin. It's genuine alligator. It's not fake. And the skin is actually in really nice condition. They're quite a small size. They're far too small for me. I'm a 9.5 UK. I think they're around about a 7.5. But any maker's marks and sizing is actually worn off the linings. They're probably from the 1970s, and I think they're Italian made. They look Italian, possibly American, but looking at the construction, it's more likely to be Italian. And I'm just going to put them on eBay UK at no reserve. The alligator skin itself is actually very soft. It's very supple, pliable. It's not dry, cracked, flaking, or anything like that. And the original sole is actually really good. It's even got the original heel, which, you know, it's got somewhere, but they've not been battered. These shoes have not had a hard time working on the pavement, walking miles and miles. I think they've been worn quite a lot indoors. The reason I think that is because there have been various repairs have been done to the linings. The first thing I'll point out, the elastic. There's an elastic here, and there's an elastic just under the buckle there. The elastics have perished due to age. They could be worn as they are. That strap isn't particularly tight, but it could easily be sort of pulled over onto the next hole and tightened up. I've worn shoes like that lots of times, and also on pairs I'm really careful. I've gone to the trouble of unpicking this stitch and putting new elastic in, but it's no big deal. But anyway, the reason I think they've been worn quite a bit indoors, there's very, very little wear, real significant wear. And when a shoe's been worn a lot, you notice here it's thick, there it's thick, but you do notice a significant sort of, it looks like it's been shaved here. That bit goes really thin and you can push your finger in. That's not the case with these. These have not been worn outdoors a lot. But they've had quite a few repairs to the linings. It's a very, very soft, goes in quite a long way. Leather patch here. So let's have a look. That heel sock, that new, it's quite soft. That's new. That's not an original. It's the right. I don't know. It just doesn't show any real sort of level of wear, or if the heel had been on there a lot, it would have rubbed this texture away. So that's been replaced. So why have the linings needed repairs? New heel socks and little patches here, and it's the same on the other one. If they've had no real significant wear, looking at the soles, they really do look like, yes, they look old, but they don't look like they've been ground into the pavement, and they haven't. And nobody's been driving in these. If you're driving in them, what happens, all the back gets very, very worn here. The heel leather, where it rubs on the carpet, because the carpet's invariably got grit. So you get like a gritty carpet rubs here. But the other thing is, the right shoe wears very thin here, and the left shoe stays thick. If you walk in them, they wear evenly. If you drive in them, the right shoe, because of the accelerator pedal and constantly pressing the brake, accelerator brake, the left shoe only gets used on the clutch. If you've got a clutch, if it's automatic, left shoe doesn't get used at all. So these haven't been driven in. They've not been walked very far in, but I do believe they've been worn quite a lot. There's a sort of an agedness about the skins. And the fact that the liners have been repaired. They've been repaired because they've been worn. So it would just indicate they've been worn indoors, which is a lot less damaging. They don't get the rain on them. They don't get ground into the pavement. So perhaps somebody was wearing these indoors, like in an office or, certainly in a carpeted area. They're not really business shoes, but perhaps somebody did like I don't know, creative type jobs, maybe working in advertising, in film, you could easily get away with something quite avant-garde. Regular conservative business, no. But I believe these have been worn indoors a lot. And, they're about 50, 55 years old. Lovely, lovely things. And they will find a good home with somebody. And as I say, they're around about a UK 7.5. I'll measure them properly and put the measurements on the listing. But it's all original, you see. Not even had a replacement heel. It's all very nice. I'm quite sure they're Italian. If they're not Italian, they're American, but I would say 80%, I'm sure they're Italian, only 20% American. They're definitely not English. This is not an English construction. Let's have a look. Is it alligator or crocodile? It's alligator. Yeah, it's alligator skin, not crocodile skin. Nice shoes, and they're no good to me because they do not fit me. There's no chance of my feet ever shrinking, and I've had these 10 years or more, and if I'm honest with you, I'm a bit embarrassed to say I'd totally forgotten about them, and they were sort of in a bag full of shoes that do not fit, and I'm going through that bag, and I've given these a really good sort of nourishing in the last couple of days, and buff the skins. There's no polish on these. You don't polish exotics, you just buff it with a coloured moisturiser to revive the colour. If they're already in good condition colour wise, you can just get away with a neutral sort of, not a polish, a neutral cream that doesn't contain mink oil. It cannot contain mink oil going on an exotic. Mink oil will darken. It will ruin the lustre. It will darken. They'll go greasy and listless. Never ever be tempted to put mink oil on an exotic or anything containing mink oil. This has just had the sapphire creme. I can't remember. I think it was like a caramel kind of colour. I didn't use the dark brown. If you use a lighter colour when you're nourishing them, it enhances the colour that's there, but it doesn't make them go one flat colour. If I'd have just done these with brown, they'd have lost that kind of sparkly. They'd have ended up brown and nice, but they'd have lost that lustre where they've got lighter highlighted tones in there. So I generally do mine with a light colour, at least 2 or 3 shades lighter. But anyway, that's it's not what this film's about, to explain how to look after shoes. I'm just trying to... I'm not going to miss these, of course, because I've never worn them, and as I say, I'm embarrassed to say I had forgotten about them, but they're just a very wearable pair of shoes that could easily be worn with the perished elastic just by pulling the strap one tighter. But ideally, a cobbler would just stitch through there and put a new elastic in. It wouldn't be a particularly big job. It'd probably take 15-20 minutes, maximum with a machine. To do it by hand, it might take about an hour. I always do mine by hand, but somebody with a machine, really, literally 15 minutes maximum. It's not a big job. eBay UK at no reserve.